go to the cloud. Okay. Welcome to 7 Graduate Programs That Can Change the World. Tonight's program is sponsored by the Holland Township Free Public Library, and we are honored to have Andrew Morris from Binghamton University as our featured presenter. Andy has many years in higher education and is currently the Senior Associate Director for Enrollment Management and Recruitment in the College of Public Affairs and Community at Binghamton. So welcome, Andy.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to present on this subject.
And I'm going to now share my screen.
Okay.
Or I'm going to allow you to share your screen. All right. Okay, we're all set.
Okay.
Now you can share your screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you again for hosting this wonderful topic. You know, this is a strange time that we're living in today, and young people, the world is in your hands, literally. And today I'm going to talk about some career options you may know about or may not know about, to plan, perhaps to look into and explore and to think more about. My name is Andy Morris, and as Jan said, I'm the Senior Associate Director for Enrollment Management and Recruitment at Binghamton University for the College of Community and Public Affairs. I'm going to start by telling a little bit about my own journey through life. In college, I was an anthropology major and had studied a number of unusual foreign languages and had actually envisioned a career perhaps with the State Department or even the CIA. But things didn't work out that way. And I wound up going back to graduate school and earning a master's degree in counseling psychology. That opened up the door for me to go to work at colleges. I became a dorm director for a number of years and worked in the area called residence life at colleges. And eventually, after a number of career moves, wound up working in college admissions and enrollment management. So, you know, I give myself as an example of someone who studied a subject that didn't necessarily point towards a career that I love and have been doing for 35 years. This program is really about people or for people who want to be world changers. This world is going to be yours real soon. And I don't have to ask you to watch the news. I don't have to ask you to open up a newspaper online or the paper kind to really see what state the world is in right now. And it's yours to change. And you can prepare yourself if you want to step up and be a world changer and really make a difference. I sort of love this little saying I came across: don't keep calm, go change the world. Because it's going to be people who step up and let their voices be heard, who are really going to contribute to the future and the betterment of everyone. Back probably when your grandparents were thinking about schooling, a high school diploma was all they really needed to get started. Today, people will say it's a bachelor's degree, but the road that lays ahead of you after you've earned your graduate degree is one that's often full of twists and turns and sometimes little circles you wind up spinning in until you reach your career destination. But what you can do is consider going on for graduate studies where often you've identified an area that you're passionate about, and that path from point A to point B has a lot fewer turns in it. I'm going to start tonight also asking you to be who you are. You know, when you think about how you can prepare yourself for the future, you want to be someone who's a agent for positive change, we call it. And you can do that by getting involved in things that you love, things that you're passionate about, whether it's a cause, whether it's student government, whether it's uh, even sports, whatever it might be, get involved. Try new things, meet new people who are different from you. Uh, be uncomfortable sometimes. Challenge the way things are done. That's the only way the world is going to change. Take some risks. And as the late Congressman John Lewis said, get into some good trouble. Think outside the box. Try things that you never would have thought of doing before. You can do this. And when you do things that you love to do, things that you really care about, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like it's an uphill battle. I'm going to start tonight talking about. I keep doing this. Um, when you think about what you want to study, whether it's your bachelor's degree or beyond, many career paths allow you to study almost anything. Many of the careers I'm going to talk about tonight, you can enter with a bachelor's degree in almost any subject. There's one area that I'm going to talk about where you do need to focus on specific majors in college, like teaching and education, where you're required to have a background in certain subject areas. But everything you do in life counts. That's something that I've heard throughout my entire life. And you can reinvent yourself, where if you start out going in a direction and it doesn't feel right, or you're not getting the rewards, the personal rewards that you think, you can step back, head in a new direction, and reinvent yourself. Much as I did as an anthropology major, ending up as a college administrator. I'm going to start out with becoming a teacher. Teachers affect eternity. No one can tell where their influence stops. Teachers change people's lives. And there's no greater career than that of being a teacher. Becoming a teacher starts in a couple of different ways. You can go and earn an undergraduate degree in education and get a start with your preliminary certification to be a teacher. But many states around the country require that you have a master's degree in order to gain your permanent teacher's certification. So there's something called advanced certification for people who need to get that master's degree to become certified. But maybe you're in a career area or working with people and you just want to know more about how people learn or understanding how schools work. There are programs where you can learn about education that aren't preparing you to be a teacher, but are preparing you to know more about how people learn. There is a national crisis right now of shortages in teachers. Teachers are needed all across this country, in cities, in rural areas, in the north, south, east, and west. And I encourage you to take a look at education as a career. My own mother became a junior high school English teacher at the age of 50. So it's never too late to go into teaching. But one nice thing about going into teaching early, and I can tell you this because I have many college friends who became teachers, many of them were able to retire very early. They were able to put in their time teaching and retire. It's one of the nice benefits of teaching. I hope some of you are really passionate about the environment. uh, for one thing, we need people to care about the environment. And there's a number of different ways where you can turn that passion for the environment into a career. There's an area of study called sustainable communities. We call it public service for the planet. And the three pillars of sustainability are environmental protection, which we all understand, economic vitality, meaning that even if you're protecting the environment, you still have to keep businesses going and flourishing, and social equity, meaning that everyone gets to share in the benefits of building a sustainable community. So if you're interested in a career in the environment, sustainability is a key word you're going to want to Google and look into, because there are some very exciting and meaningful careers that will help the planet and help the world. We're all facing a crisis right now called COVID-19, and we wish there was something we could do about it. And there's a whole area of study where you can. It's called public health. Uh, People who go to work in public health, they identify when an outbreak happens. They promote different healthy options. They do research. They monitor disease and illness. Um, and they try to help prevent disease and illnesses from happening. And they're also big about communication. We have been, if you've turned on the news in these recent days and weeks and months, you've seen many state, local, and national public health officials. This is a hot area right now. And because of just the nature of things, I feel that people are going to be paying more attention to the field of public health in the future. Graduates of public health degrees, we call it a master's in public health, again, promote health. They look at what is going on in the environment and in social factors, and again, try to promote health equity among everyone. Students prepare for careers in the public sector, working for governments and the public. They work in the nonprofit world, the Sierra Club, many other community organizations, and they also work in the private sector. They do it in New Jersey, they do it across the United States, and literally around the world. And jobs are found in health departments, insurance agencies, drug companies, hospitals, long-term care facilities, anywhere where people's health need to be guarded against or prepared for the future. So really think about public health if you like the idea of health and medicine, but perhaps don't want to go to medical school. This is a way for you to have a really big impact on the world. Some of you maybe have not been to college yet, but you're really looking forward to it. College today looks a lot like this picture. And, when you get to college, it is the best 4 years or more or less of your life. And some of you are going to go to college, get involved at college, and wish you could stay in college forever. I know that I was one of those people. When I was in college, I was a tour guide for the admissions office. And once I was allowed to attend a staff meeting of the admissions office, and here I am, 20, 21 years old, maybe. I was a senior. And I looked around the table at all these really old people in their 30s and 40s. And they were all really cool. They didn't seem old. They were forever youthful. And It's because when you're working with college students and around college students, you never grow old. And I love that about the job. So if you go to college and you get involved in organizations, clubs, the admissions office, the orientation office, being a resident assistant in the dorms, you can actually go on to study what's called student affairs administration or higher ed administration. You work to learn how to make college a better place for all students. So if you really like leading, educating, counseling, advising, training, if you like being involved in activities and planning activities, working at a college may be a great path. But there's one thing you need to know. You can actually break into a college job with just a bachelor's degree in almost anything if you have good experience while you're in college. But after a couple of years, if you want a promotion, if you want to go to work at another college at a higher level, it really is you're going to find very quickly that you need to have a graduate degree. So considering the idea of getting a master's degree in student affairs or higher ed is going to really propel you in that career ladder at colleges. I didn't know a lot about what social workers did. Even when I was in graduate school, there were some people who were in social work, in a master's in social work, who I shared classes with. I didn't really know what they were going to do when they finished up. Fast forward a few years, and I'm actually working as a career counselor in a community counseling agency. And as I walked up and down the halls, the nameplates on all of the offices said MSW, LCMSW, and all sorts of other letters that all had social work involved with them. They were the therapists, the counselors. Um, I suddenly came to realize that as a social worker, you are a licensed uh, uh, clinical therapist and can do everything that a psychologist can do except do psychological testing. So the counselors that I worked with people who suffered from substance abuse and gambling addiction. They worked with marriage counseling. They did counseling of children. They did counseling of the elderly. Um, they worked with people with every variety of mental illness that you can think of, and families. And so social work is all about helping people be better people, to help them overcome obstacles and really improve themselves and improve their family units and in turn the community. Social work is an incredibly rewarding profession, and it is a lot easier to get a master's in social work than a PhD in psychology. And some social workers, after they become licensed, can just hang up their own shingle and open a counseling agency of their own. So it really offers a lot of variety. Public administration, or a master's in public administration, an MPA you'll hear people talk about, is a degree that people earn to prepare themselves to work in different administrative functions in a variety of settings. Um, if you think of it this way, a master's in public administration is a lot like an MBA for people who want to work in the nonprofit or government areas. Um, People who work in government, people work in community agencies, even the arts. If you think of a local community theater, a local art gallery, a local, uh, uh, just about anything like that, there needs to be administrators who help to keep the operations going, who know how to hire the people to work there, who know how to budget, who know how to fundraise. Um, those are all roles that people in public administration play. Um, there's also policy, laws, regulations, and just general public service that public administrators also have a big role in developing. So if you had your sights on being a business person, but running something in government or community setting, an MPA may actually be a better option than a master's in business administration for you. So I hope you'll take a look into that as a possible field. Now, people who change the world are often focused on human rights. And believe it or not, at Binghamton and a few other colleges, we actually have a Master's of Science in Human Rights degree. And I love this saying that Nelson Mandela has: to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Human rights has a lot of different things that play into it. And human rights are important to everyone. Probably in some ways more important today to help people get, keep, and take back rights that may have been taken away from them. Um, whether it's LGBTQ rights, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's fighting for uh, your child to be educated the way that you need them to be. Human rights are basic, and you need people to fight for your human rights. And uh, actually, the program we have is designed for people who really care a lot about education, health, violence, children, poverty, families, people who are in jail, people who are immigrants, the political economy. All these human rights areas are covered in the training and the courses that you would take. You develop competencies in being a community organizer, to innovate in a social setting, and to evaluate human rights programs to see where you might be needed to make a difference. So, if you're one of those people right now who are fired up about getting up and making a difference, human rights is something that you can actually study and actually find a rewarding opportunities out there to get involved with. This is really your chance to grow and explore. I know I'm talking about master's degrees, where some of you are right now saying, oh my God, I just want to get through my community college degree perhaps, or go on for a bachelor's degree somewhere, or just go to college and experience college. Why are you telling me about all these things that are way down the road? And it's because there are things that you can do today if you're still in high school or if you're in college, where you can get active, get involved, and get experience to find out where you would like to be and what you would like to do. Um, at Binghamton, the College of Community and Public Affairs, we call it CCPA. We have all these programs. And so if you wanted to research and read up about what is a career in public administration about, human rights, public health, social work, student affairs administration, teaching, learning, and educational leadership, or sustainable communities, you can go to our website and take a look around. We're not the only university that offers this. Um, Rutgers, where our host Jan worked, is the top public university in New Jersey. I'm proud to say that Binghamton University is the Rutgers of New York. It is the top public university in New York, and it's recognized as one of the top public universities in the Northeast and a public Ivy. So it's a great place to at least start your research and to learn more about what these careers may be. Now, I'll point out a couple of the programs have that little star next to them. Those are what we call interdisciplinary programs, which means that people teach in those programs that come from outside of our college. So in public health, there are faculty members and courses that you would take from our Decker School of Nursing and Health Sciences, as well as the College of Community and Public Affairs. And for sustainable communities, there are faculty that teach in our arts and sciences and geography, environmental science, environmental studies, political science, and even anthropology. So those are interdisciplinary programs are where you have a mixing of different faculty with different backgrounds to teach a single subject. If you want to find out more, binghamton.edu/ccpa. And again, maybe Binghamton isn't going to be the right college for you. Maybe you're looking to go somewhere else or do something else first. But again, if you're looking to explore opportunities, you could read up about what these majors are all about and build out from there. That's the end of my program, but I do have some questions that have come in that I thought I would take a stab at answering. One is, how long do these programs you're talking about, these master's programs, how long do they take to earn? And my answer is going to be complex. It all depends. We actually have some programs that are what we call 4+1 programs, where you actually start taking some graduate courses your senior year, and you just stay one additional year and you graduate with your bachelor's and master's in 5 years. Some programs might take 1.5 years to complete, but all the programs, if you're going full-time, you can complete most all master's programs in a 2-year period. Another question is about gaining experience. And one of the things that's exciting about the College of Community and Public Affairs is that every program that we have requires you to do an internship or some sort of field experience. Social workers actually start working in a counseling setting the first semester that they start their classes. Public administrators get internships with local government or offices. Student affairs administration students earn graduate assistantships where they actually work in college offices while they're in school. And we all know that teachers will go off and do student teaching to gain experience. What's important about that is that when you do those experiences, those internships, while you're doing your studies, you graduate with a great resume. These things are there that you can point to when you're interviewing or applying for jobs, that you can say, I've done this already because I gained that firsthand experience. A question came up of who would hire someone with a degree in human rights? And my answer to that is there's a lot of places. Government agencies hire people with backgrounds in human rights because they can help train and sensitize and develop policies and procedures to and to enforce or to put in place basic human rights. Uh, the United Nations and many of the agencies that work internationally are looking for people with that kind of background to go out and work organizing and standing up and speaking about human rights. Um, and even local community organizations are needing people who have specialized training to, again, go out and uh, make sure that people's human rights are really protected. Uh, okay, someone said you said there are specific majors if you want to go into education. What would they be? Most programs in education require that you focus in one of the five core subject areas. So if you want to be a science teacher, you have to major in a science or have a certain number of credit hours in hard sciences. I think all sciences are hard, um, but you have to have a background in that in order to be a science teacher. Um, Forgive me, Mr. Flynn, for saying this, but if you want to be a math teacher, you have to major in math. My stepdaughter was a math major. I am math phobic. She would start talking about partial differential equations, and I would start getting dizzy. So you need people who major in math, who can teach math. And I wish I had a teacher today because I think they teach math a whole lot better than they did when I was in school. If you want to teach social studies, history is a good solid area to study if you want to be a social studies teacher. If you want to be an English teacher like my mother was, it helps to have an undergraduate degree in English. And foreign language is another area where if you want to teach Spanish, French, Italian, it's going to help if you have a major in that area. Um, I will tell you right now that if you are a math or a science teacher, people will beat a path to your door. They are in tremendous demand, and there just are not enough people who want to teach chemistry and physics and biology and geometry and trigonometry and I have 3 college degrees and I never took calculus, and I'm very happy about that. But there is a need for people to teach that because, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to go into medicine, if you want to go into uh, accounting, you need to have math, and you need to have good math teachers to inspire you early. And one more question is, you know, I'm right now I'm applying to colleges for my bachelor's degree. What is the application process like at the graduate level? Well, it's not a whole lot different than applying as an undergraduate student. You will need to complete an application online. Uh, Most colleges will have their own application. If you're going into certain fields like pharmacy, or I think dentistry, some of those fields actually have their own specialized applications. Um, Many of all the programs that I described in the College of Community and Public Affairs do not require the graduate record exam or GRE. The only exception to that is teaching. There's a national requirement that all teachers entering a teaching program, a master's level program, must take the GRE. It doesn't say what your score has to be. It just says you have to take it. So don't get into a panic like you may be about the SAT or ACT. Some of you are getting a pass on that this year. But you may have to look into the GRE for some from universities that require it. Um, like your undergraduate application, you'll have to prepare a personal statement. Uh, it's sort of like an essay, but more about reflecting on yourself. And you also need to get letters of recommendation from a couple of your professors. Most graduate programs require that you have a grade point average of 3.0 or higher. So you don't want to be one of those people in college, hovering around a 275, 28, 29. You want to shoot for well above 3.0 if you want to go on to graduate school. Um, so it's very similar to the application process that you're going through right now, perhaps. And that's all the questions that I have that came in. So I will turn it back to you and let you close out the evening. Thank you very much again for allowing me to be here with you. And it's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you again sometime.
Thank you, Andy. And for those who signed in late, we recorded this program, so it will be on the Holland Township Library website and also on social media. So if you, like I said, if you signed in late, you can catch up online. So thank you again, Andy. This was great. This was inspiring.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.